Hey, everybody, welcome back to Inspired Action Life podcast. This is Karen Baldridge, and I am doing a continuation of my last podcast because I didn't want to make it too long because it gets hard to consume large form pieces of content. But I guess if you're interested enough in what it has to say, it doesn't feel long, but not everybody has time for that. So I kind of wanted to batch this out, but it's kind of a really an important and a near and dear concept to my heart. And I was discussing the last time of how 2023 really solidified some strong lessons for me about the capabilities of unearthing things that have been stored in your body and the reason you should do it, because it could be the very thing that is holding you back from that quiet, still small voice of a thing or a dream or whatever it is that you want, or that bit of happiness that you just can't seem to obtain or maintain. Some of you can get good things coming, but then you can't keep them. And that's another energy piece. And again, that could be yet another podcast. But that could be the thing, the very thing that is invisible to you, but your body knows and is stopping you from getting the things that you want. So when I was going through the 2023 firestorm, I really didn't like the process. I'm going to not lie to you. There was a lot of my shadow sides that came out, that I know a lot of people on podcasts talk about your shadow side, or those other sides of you that you really don't want to deal with because you try to put your best foot forward and put your best energy and positivity out there. But life is that great duplicitousness, where we have a dark and a light side to us, whether we want to believe that we do or not. We're just able to override those dark parts of us. And when I mean dark, I don't mean you're all like a serial killer. It's meaning more like those sadness thoughts, those anxiety thoughts, those honestly depression thoughts, things that keep you from being the happiest version that you could possibly be when you're down here on this earth, because you only have one go around at it. So I guess one of the big mirrors that, I know you've heard this a lot of different times, but for the purpose that I'm making right now, I just really kind of want to bring this up, is that you've heard of that book, Bronnie Ware, the 5 lessons from the dying, or something like that, where the things that they had their biggest regrets. That's what it is. Their biggest regrets of the dying. And the number one has just always haunted me more than any of the rest of them. And that is, I wish I would have had the courage to take the chance to live out some of the dreams that I had. I wish I would have had the courage, the confidence, or not let all the limiting beliefs stop me from doing that, or the programming, like we were talking about at the last podcast, is our programming. You have no idea the level of programming. I thought I had worked all the bugs out, and don't you know, I had way more to deal with. Even, when I was telling you I was doing energy work, energetically, the people doing the energy work with me, like muscle testing or whatever, like, whoa, okay, so you got some activity here, like in your body knows, like they say, like anger and frustration is stored in the liver. Okay, so my liver was a little crunchy, people. I mean, it was not it was not good. I had some unresolved things, so I had to really sort that out. Like, why am I so, like, I didn't think that I was angry. I honestly didn't, in my like conscious mind, I didn't go around like being in a salty mood or ever like that. That is not my personality. Like I said, I'm pretty happy go lucky, or as in my conscious mind, but there is a lot of anger, like on how, people have, I don't know, like taken care of or not taken care of our relationship or my relationship with them. All right. So, like, I held that anger. Now, I will say this, there's two parts of this. It's not their job to make me happy. I know that's controversial, but I'm just telling you that is a fact. It is not anybody's job to make you a happy human. That is your job. But I can choose to change the relationship if I feel like I am getting put into positions constantly where I am getting, my worst thing is dismissed. If I'm just being taken for granted, dismissed, or taken advantage of, or just basically invisible. That has always been like, oh, a total trigger for me. And so I really had to, deal with these confrontative thoughts and things that were very confrontational for me that I had to walk through, because these were like key relationships that I really had to make some decisions. So it's my job to like make decisions about the context of those relationships. So to pause that for a second, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to pull together a whole program that addresses all of these hidden obstacles that you probably don't even know are there for you. I know I didn't know them. And I'm calling it the game of life. The program is the game of life, because after you understand this higher level thinking, you'll go, oh my gosh, like this truly is a game. Like in every sense of the word, it's very strategic. You get to decide, do I want to keep this player in? I don't know what kind of fuzzy is in my hair right here. Do I want to keep this player in, or do I want to move in this player? Or there's a lot of strategy involved in how you want to build up and maintain and integrate a practice of gratitude and happiness and hopefulness and joy and pleasure into your life, instead of grasping onto and holding on to and giving any kind of airtime, mental airtime, to things that you don't want. Because, like we discussed on the last podcast, whatever seed you water is the seed that grows. So whatever you're giving your energy towards, you're going to bring more of that to you. And then the cycle will repeat, because you will be frustrated that they're still treating me like stuff and whatever. Well, you haven't changed the internal game. And until you start to turn the dial there, you're making it someone else's job to make you feel how you refuse to feel about yourself. Oh my God. Do you hear that? Like, that is so crazy. Like, when it was like positioned that way, it's like you are making it someone else's job to give to you what you refuse to give and do for yourself. Now, imagine that. Now, what happens if you are giving it to yourself? You will get to a place where now you get to choose. Do I want to reciprocate good energy, or do I constantly feel depleted when I'm with you? And am I harboring resentment? Because if I am, that's not good for my life or good for my health and body, anything, or my goals. So now you're at a pivotal point where you need to make some decisions. So things like that in the realm of relationships, those are something that you really need to examine, because that could be something that is getting in your path that you didn't even realize. And it has nothing to do with the current person that you're in a relationship. Let me just say, it's not their problem. It's something you're programming. It's in your programming, and you have carried that around from childhood. And let me help you understand this, and you need to hear this like I know I needed to hear it. It can't be someone else's fault. Why? Because if you don't change the programming, you're just going to replace the current person that you're ticked at with another person that's going to do the same exact thing to you. I'm putting that in air quotes, to you. No, they're not doing anything to you. You're just attracting their energy because you still haven't addressed the issue. You have to like go in and unearth those things and discover what's going on in there. But then as you move forward and make a plan, here is the big word. You need to decide what your path is going to look like next. You need to decide it. There's no discovering, it's a decision. It is a complete, unequivocal decision. I don't know if that's a word, but it is now. You have to decide to make that change and that you want better and that you will attract better because you are better. Ah, so refreshing. That's why I think it's always so good and so unhealthy and unproductive to be in the victim mindset, because I see that even though I cleared my head of victimhood, my body was still hanging on to it. I didn't know that because I pride myself on going, no, 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 I'm not a victim. I know the world wants to tell me 18 different ways why I've been victimized. I don't buy it. Sorry, again, I know that's controversial because I'm not giving it airtime. It's not that I don't buy it. I understand that some people feel that way and they're probably valid in their feelings. But I am saying that for me, it doesn't produce anything for me. It's a very non-productive state of mind and a thought. So that's not the place I want to be. So I had to unearth it from my body, which then requires another level of things to do. So breath work and meditation, and very intentionally saying, I release all of these feelings out into the trust of God. I lay them in the hands of God and trust that my best outcomes are coming my way, that everything works out for me, that I don't have to do anything. I can let go. I am okay with what is and whatever is coming. I am at peace with it because a good man's steps are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way is a scripture that I know that I've always thought about and pondered on and prayed about, because I thought it was very powerful that there is some order in the universe and that things don't just go crazy because there's always a reason it's coming towards you. There's always a reason that you are getting chaotic things happening to you. And I personally feel good about that, as much as I don't want the chaos, but I know that there is likely something that I am bringing in. Again, I don't want anyone coming for me. I'm not trying to say there's a lot of crappy things that have happened in my life and a lot of horrible things that are happening to a lot of other people. And I don't by any stretch minimize it. All I am saying is I want to, and I am encouraging you to control the parts that you can control. At least control your energy, control your vibe, let go of all resentment, let go of anything that holds you back, any victim stories, anybody, forgive them and set them free. And in setting them free, you set yourself free. And that way, when you find yourself in that position again, you'll get the right situation that is perfectly matched for your next level self. Does that make sense to you? It makes so much sense to me, which is why I am so passionate about that message, that I now can control my outcomes. My words and my thoughts now have a place to go that is productive, instead of waiting for me to react to the next disaster. Life is not about reacting. We are creating. The goal is to get to a place where you are creating outcomes. And then, because of that shift in your energy and that shift in your thoughts and your words and your beliefs, suddenly the right and very productive opportunities, unbeatable opportunities, even miraculous opportunities, and people and relationships and collaborations all start to come towards you because that is what you're pulling in your energy field. Is that so crazy? Like, most people don't know that. I didn't know that. And I just feel like I have found my mission to make sure that people are aware that they are the author of their circumstances. And so, with that in mind, as I go to reorient what I'm doing, at least for the events and things for my business, and really putting the energy around something that I am creating, my energy must be high like it is right now. And if I want the outcome to be just as impactful as the energy from which I am creating it. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel very excited about this program that I'm putting together because it has literally, quite literally, transformed my entire existence. And so it's so important to me that I am very careful in curating about the content that I put there, and that anyone that I draw to me energetically that will want to be part of this program, because it will just be a match. And I don't want to have to worry about, negative energy things coming in there, or like some would call them energy vampires. I want perfectly matched, equitable, not equitable as in, but energy, the same equal energy as me, regardless of whatever they are. As long as their energy matches mine, we are a match. But I just know that I won't pull in anyone that doesn't have that same energy or is not seeking to have it. They may not have it yet, but they are fully open to the transformation that this kind of powerful information provides, because it is powerful. And in your everyday life, you don't come upon this type of information. I know I didn't. And I know that some of the coaching that I have done, like in the corporate sector, I might ask a few little leading questions just to try to do some market research. Like, have you heard of this book? Have you heard of this concept? Have you heard of this or that? And so many times I get blank stares. Most people have no idea about the concept of creating your reality, and that your words and your actions and your thoughts create your reality for the good or the bad. Okay, so it goes both ways. And so if my thoughts can make me sick, like, oh, I feel sick because I'm so nervous and I've just been so worried, and now I'm sick because all my defensive went down, then can't equally, and on the other side, can't your thoughts make things good, or make you better, or make things well again? Yes, it is my belief, and many people that have come before me, it is their belief that that is true. I know many of you have heard the famous quote from Henry Ford that whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And look at how Henry Ford was well before his time in terms of his the products that he made with the automobile, and all the advancements scientifically that he made so that the car could come to be, and what he invented. So here's a really interesting and pivotal piece that I really kind of want to stress with a lot of emphasis here, that you can't create something new from something old. So from the old mechanics, you can't suddenly create this whole nuclear reactor from just like a board that, like in your house, like the circuit board that, puts electricity in your house. You can't make a nuclear reactor from that. It needs to be something new. So that's why you have to upgrade your mental circuitry and your physical circuitry to a certain extent, and clean it out, release all of the old heavy energy, heavy thoughts, victim thoughts, pointing the fingers, and get real light. Get really light in your body and in your thoughts, and invite in that next new energy version of you. And you just have no idea where this could take you. So, like today, you're the best that you have ever been intellectually. Okay. So, like, your abilities are what they are today. You're only at the starting gate. If you can imagine that, if you were looking to say create something else, a new business, or switch careers, which I know a lot of people in my age group, we find ourselves, tapped out with what we were doing career wise, and we want something different. And so that's where I am. But I mean, I didn't want any of the options that I knew about. I wanted something different that hadn't been created yet. Or like I wanted something, but I couldn't like put words around it because it didn't necessarily exist yet, right? Because it was waiting for me to discover it. Right? So that's the same with any invention. Henry Ford in the car and his discovery, it had never been created. He was the best and most intellectual that he could be the day that he came upon the big idea of the car. He only got better from there because it was a new circuit board that was being put into his mind, into his body, really taking root, and he created his new reality. You see? You see how that's different? He had to upgrade the system. Just like when you move into another house or you add an addition. I don't know if any of you have added additions onto your house or moved into a new house that was a bigger house. You can't use this small circuit board for a house that's, 1,300 square feet if you're moving in to a house that's, say, like 4,000 square feet. You've got to upgrade the circuitry in order to have infrastructure to support this new creation. Well, the same is true of you. You have to upgrade the entire network in order to uphold the new relationship, the new business, and the new possibilities for finances or money and the understanding of money. And that is an episode all in itself. There are so many interesting concepts about money and the belief of who can have it and if money is bad or good and does money have energy around it. And to put it in a nutshell, like a lot of people in the coaching space and even corporate coaching, it's like money is simply a resource. It is neither good nor bad. It doesn't have energy attached to it. It doesn't care what you do with it. So the worst people in the world could have money and do nothing but evil because money doesn't care. Okay, money does not care. They can make more money, but the reason they make more money is because why? Why do you think they still get more money? Even if they're, quote, bad people, as the world will cast them in this way or whatever they want you to believe. That's how they will cast them. The media will tell you all kinds of crazy shenanigans of who they don't like, and this person is bad, and then ignore somebody else that isn't bad or is bad, but they try to say they're not. All the things, all the people have their opinions. I don't listen. I do not listen. I do not listen to them because I don't want them involving my energy field. But the point about money is all these people that the world would tell you they're so bad. Well, they continue to get money simply because they have no resistance to having it. Boom. That's it. They don't think money is something they have to struggle for. They don't think money is something that they have to cheat somebody out of or that they have to oppress people to get or do something shady to get or whatever. And the people who have it, they have their opinions over the people who got the money and how they believe that they got it and if it's good or bad. Again, Money doesn't care. The only reason these people, money falls into the hands of these people is because they have no resistance to having it. They're used to having it. People who've grown up wealthy have no fear of money. And therefore, you will notice that a lot of them will still continue to come upon money very easily. They may lose their money, but then they'll turn right back around and make more money and start over again with just like a blink of an eye. Why? Because they don't have a fear of it. They are not worried about money. They always believe there is more to be made. And there is enough money to be made. And it doesn't necessarily come in ways that you think it's going to come at times. It's kind of got a whole story in and of itself. And I haven't completely mastered that whole area, but I certainly love the concept that it can be a lot like building a business where if I don't have any resistance to a successful business, then it's more likely to come. And the people who build business after business after business, why do you think it continues to work for them? I'll wait. Have you guessed? Correct. If you guessed they don't have resistance to it, then boom, you are correct again. Their energy, their circuitry, all of the system has been upgraded for that success quotient. And if you're out looking for a partner or your marriage, first one didn't work out or whatever it is going on with a relationship, again, plug and play here. We are plugging and playing. Don't bring your old circuitry into the new relationship. And new circuitry doesn't mean like I'm a boss babe, B-I-T, everyone's like, oh, I'm a boss, blah, blah, blah. No. It doesn't have to have emotions attached to it. When you start to attach adjectives and emotional words to a statement or a declaration, you've given your power away. Why? Because you've involved your emotions. Things are neutral. Information is neutral until you apply some sort of emotional word to it. So you can have healthy boundaries with no attitude or intensity attached to it. You will simply be and put yourself in receptive mode, like we talked about the last podcast, is learning how to be in receptive mode and to receive all the things that are an energetic match to you. And here's the word you tell yourself. This is going to be so easy. I enjoy this journey. And that's what I have to tell myself over and over again. This is so easy. I am just ready to receive. I just go along like I'm floating on a gentle river in an inner tube, whatever you want to say, a boat, whatever. And you just think of how a lovely sunny day where the sun is shining down on you and you're hearing the trickling water as you just kind of quietly float down the spring and just go, I am in receiving mode. All things work out for me because I don't have resistance to them. And any words that I do put to it, if I feel like things are going to start to give me a problem, like I was doing a podcast earlier today with somebody else and my camera wasn't working. It kept like being delayed. Okay, so I started to get myself emotional about it, but then I have trained my brain enough to know that I can pull back the emotions, peel them back and go, no, this will work out. Everything always works out. So the game of life, that is my life's work program. I hope you will consider being part of the game. And it might be a little bit like Chutes and Ladders game where you get a couple steps up and then you take the big slide all the way back to the beginning. But the key is to stay in the game and train your brain to only see successful outcomes one way or the other, both in life, relationships, health, finances, career. You train your brain and you decide. You don't hope. You don't try and discover. You don't fingers crossed. No. You decide that the best outcome always works out for you. And that's exactly what will happen. So I'm opening this up. This starts February 6th. I hope I see as many of you in this game that I can see, and I will repeat it again, probably in the summer. This is important work, and I want your life to be a completely different story by the beginning of 2025. And I know it can be. I am living proof. So take care, everyone. Have a great week, and can't wait to see you in the game.